Howdy, howdy, Frosty510 here, and I want to go over the biggest mistake I made in Path of Exile 2, and you can see it right here. I made all 6 characters, and I, leveled them up equally, thinking, oh yeah, I'll just try out a bunch of different builds and do some fun stuff, and don't do that. So, the first thing you should do is stick to one character. So find a character that's easy. In this case, a minion build. Super simple, beginner friendly. Push it all the way, or at least until you start getting drops of this particular item. So when you start the game, you only get access to a certain number of support skill gems. So support skill gem tier 1, and when you reach a certain level, you get 2, and then when you get even higher, you get 3. So trying a bunch of different builds is nice, but it's only worthwhile to do it. Let's jump into our gem tab. When you got access to the 2s and the 3s. So, early on in the game, when you want to start a new build, you think, oh, what would actually work? I've got the beginner skills, like, flame walls and ice novas. What can I do with them? Well, there's not a whole lot you can do. You start with, like, say, basic here. You got your minions, you got your limited options, and a lot of them aren't great. They don't really do a hell of a lot. And like maybe you could do stun, things like that. So it really, really, really annoyed me when I just pushed my minion character and just went, oh, let's just keep pushing. And then the 2s dropped. And then I found out that you can use support skill 2 and 3 at any point. You don't need to worry. You get access to a whole bunch of way better support modifiers for your skills, much more enjoyable gameplay, much more fun experimentation. All of it by just leveling one character up to the point where they start dropping. And you're getting these quest rewards. You're going to get a good amount of them. You don't have to worry too much about rarity at that point, although having rarity is great, and I highly recommend it. Choosing builds, if you do look at build guides, look for ones that you can be a little more casual with, so you have room for rarity, because rarity is a big thing. It'll get nerfed once GGG get back from their holiday vacation, so in this short little span of time it's worth pumping. But there's just so much more interesting stuff going on, like just some basic, like bloody heft. Look at that, 30% more maximum physical damage, and you put that on any skill. You could just start a new fresh warrior, chuck heft on mace strike, and then you're doing 30% more maximum physical damage. It's completely insane the way that the support gems work. I think, honestly, I'd like them all to be accessible from the beginning, because it really does reward someone who rushes a character up. They just get access to all this, and then they can just play with all sorts of different stuff. You get all sorts of fun builds, because you get enough of these. You get enough. You don't have to worry you're going to run out of them. You get them from quest rewards, you get them from just going around cleaning up monsters. And it just opens up so much more experimentation when you have more options. So Flame Wall is probably a good example. You don't get a lot. Not all skills are built the same, but even then, look at that. Fire Mastery, 1 level supported skills, and boosting levels is massive. So you put that on beginner Firewall, and if you're doing flames, it'll have an impact. Strip Away, can you get exposure increase? A Spell Echo is really, really good. Definitely worth the reduced cast speed on more powerful spells. I'd say you could argue with Spark and that you need more speed and all that stuff. But the point is, you get more options if you push one character until you start unlocking your 3. So you're going to start unlocking... where are we? We're in Cruel. So you're going to start getting unlocked Support Gem 2 in about Act 3, depending on your level. So about Act 3, going into Cruel, you get more consistently 2s around here. And then at about halfway through Act 2, you'll start getting support gem level 3. I think it's around level 50, 55, 54. Yeah, around there. You'll start getting them. So just save them up. You don't have to use them all when you get them. And just, yeah. Then you can actually experiment with other characters. I spent so much time just starting a new character, doing it in a way that was, you know, like, I got some really weird characters, I'll be honest. Like my crossbow doing armor break build, and then you just run without armor break explosion. And then to actually get it was like, oh, now my build has changed. And there's so many support gems that just totally change the way you play. And they're all just kept behind your level of one of your characters and just progressing. So progress one character, get all the way to maps if you can. And that's asking a bit. But just, you know, whatever time you have, if you're casual, I'm pretty casual, maybe. Push one character all the way. As far as you can get it, get your support gems, and then when you start your second, third, fourth characters, when you want to mix it up, you want to try different builds, then you have the tools to actually try them out and enjoy them, rather than just suffering with their limitations. And being like, oh, I wish I could do more, something more interesting with it, rather than just go, I'll just keep pushing and using the skill because I want to use the skill later on and enjoy it. It's like you reduce some of the pain for just the benefit, because the game is just designed in a way that's a bit odd. It is on the early access, but I feel like, honestly, I'd scrap the support gem tiers because you can use them on your other characters regardless of level. And there's not, like, the stat requirement is not as hard as, say, just leveling a basic skill and it goes up. So I feel like either they'll level gate them and make it less accessible, or, I mean, there's no point having the 3 subsections, in all honesty. It only just barriers the first character, and if you're silly enough to try other characters without realizing that you can overcome the barrier. Yeah, it's only painful for people who don't realize it. So I feel like it's only painful for casual players who are trying out a bunch of different characters, maybe not even getting one up to 60. Maybe they'll never know that it's much easier and you can actually mix and match and things. It's frustrating how much I suffered, how much I went through just to be like, oh, I should have just taken that one character further and then I would have got everything I needed to play around and have fun. Not, you know, necessarily min-maxing to the max, but just more choices. Yeah. So if you can relate to this experience and you maybe you have only got a few characters level up to, like, 30 and you haven't had the time to play as much, focus on one character. Just focus on one, and then you can play around much more with your other characters. So I do think it is worth trying out each one and then trying different builds, and then maybe seeing other YouTube videos and seeing what sort of fun things people are doing and being like, I'll try to do that, and then maybe not necessarily replicating it, but trying at least. So you don't have to trade for any of that stuff, just you get it all yourself. But I wish I knew. It just seems like it's such a basic thing that, like, I watched a bunch of other beginner guides and I really felt like this point was really, really important, because they always talk about endgame maps, and I'm like, I'm not even at maps. I played 800 hours of POE1, didn't play a lot of maps. It's just, I just make a new character, like old Diablo 2 style. Although, Diablo 2 Resurrected, I did push a couple and actually beat hell with them and stuff, but it's not like I never did the Uber bosses in Diablo 2, but I played that for years, 20 years, 26 years or something. So it's one of those things where having fun and pushing the end game aren't, the same. They can be mutually exclusive. You can just have fun and make characters and do fun things and not push the end game content, or just not get there. And still say it's a good game. It's like, But that's me. Frosty510, you're you. Have a wonderful day. Hopefully you push a character and you get your support gems and you can just mess around and do what you like. Yeah, don't feel pressured by people showing their end-game builds where they're blasting screens and things, and just go at your own pace. And you'll find a way. I mean, it's all the basic stuff. Resistances and defenses, and then not getting hit and all the all the fun things. But yeah. Alright. Have a wonderful day. See ya.